Right now, as you watch this, reality is pouring through you. Light, waves, signals, entire rivers of information flooding the space you are sitting in, and you are catching almost none of it. You think you see the world. You don't. You see a sliver of it, a thin, flickering slice, so small that if you pictured everything reality contains as one enormous spectrum, the part you can actually perceive would be almost absurdly narrow. Call it 1%? Honestly, that might be generous. The other 99%? It is all around you this very second. You just were not built to notice it. Let me show you exactly what you are missing. Start with light. The light your eyes can see, every color you have ever known, from deep red to violet, is called the visible spectrum. It feels like everything. It feels like all the color there is, but it is not. It is a tiny band on something much, much bigger called the electromagnetic spectrum. Picture that spectrum as an enormous ruler stretching from one side of a city to the other. Everything you can see, the entire rainbow of your whole life, would fit within the width of a single fingernail on that ruler. The rest of it, kilometers of it in either direction, is completely invisible to you. Just beyond one edge of your vision is infrared, the glow of heat radiating off every warm body in the room. Past that, microwaves and radio waves, some of them longer than a football field. On the other side sits ultraviolet, then X-rays, then gamma rays. All of it real, all of it here, all of it streaming through the air in front of your face right now. In fact, at this exact moment, the space around you is full of invisible signals, radio broadcasts, Wi-Fi, cellular transmissions, information encoded into electromagnetic waves, filling the room and some of it passing straight through you, while your senses never register a thing. You feel nothing, you see nothing, because you are never designed to. And here is where it gets stranger, because this is not just a story about light. It is a story about how small your entire reality actually is. And the easiest way to prove it is to look at the creatures who share this planet with you. Take a simple bee. To you, a flower is a pretty splash of color. To a bee, that same flower is covered in glowing ultraviolet patterns, like landing strips at an airport, guiding it straight to the nectar. Those patterns have been there the whole time, painted onto the petals. You have just never seen them. You never will. A snake can sense the infrared heat of a mouse in total darkness, seeing the warmth of a living body glowing in the black. A bird can feel the magnetic field of the entire planet, an invisible map wrapped around the Earth that it uses to navigate across continents. And a creature called the mantis shrimp has eyes so complex they pick up forms of light your eyes simply cannot detect, opening a sensory world you can understand through science, but never actually experience for yourself. Now think about your dog. When you take your dog for a walk and it stops, nose glued to the ground, refusing to move, it is not being stubborn. It is reading. That patch of grass is a rich, detailed story. Who passed by? How long ago? Were they male or female? Afraid or calm? Sick or healthy? Your dog is living inside an entire dimension of smell, a world as vivid and information-packed as your world of sight, and you are standing right next to it, completely blind to all of it. So ask yourself a simple question. Whose version is the real one? Yours? The bees? The dogs? The snakes? The unsettling answer is that none of them are. There is no single true version of reality that everyone is looking at. Every living thing is trapped inside its own private bubble of what it can perceive, and it mistakes that bubble for the whole world. There is even a word for this bubble. A biologist named Jakob von Uexküll called it the Umwelt. Your Umwelt is the tiny slice of reality your senses are tuned to pick up. The bee has its Umwelt. The dog has its Umwelt. And you are locked inside yours, convinced it is everything, when it is barely a whisper of what is out there.
And it goes deeper still, because even that thin sliver you do receive, you are not seeing raw. Think about color again. You feel like color is just out there, painted onto the world, but it is not. Out in reality, there are only different wavelengths of light. The wavelength itself is not red. Red is the experience your brain creates when it processes that particular pattern of light. A rose reflects a certain wavelength, yes, but the redness, the actual color you see, is built inside your head, not sitting on the petal. The same is true for everything you sense. The sounds, the warmth, the solid feel of a table under your hand, all of it is an interface your brain builds for you, its useful summary of the world, rather than the world itself. The neuroscientist Anil Seth has described what we see as a kind of controlled hallucination, not because the world is not real, but because your brain is constantly constructing its best guess about what is out there, a story just accurate enough to keep you alive. And that phrase is the key to the whole mystery, just accurate enough to keep you alive. Because your senses were never designed to show you the truth. They were designed by evolution to do one thing: help your ancestors survive long enough to have children. That is it. If seeing ultraviolet light did not help your ancestors find food or avoid a predator, then evolution simply did not bother giving it to you. If hearing the deep infrasound rumble that elephants use to talk across miles was not useful for staying alive, it was left out. You were not built to perceive reality. You were built to perceive whatever kept you breathing. Everything else, the vast humming ocean of the real, was quietly filtered out and thrown away as noise before you were ever even aware it existed.
So sit with what that actually means. Every sunset you have ever seen, every face you have ever loved, every song, every color, every warm summer evening, all of it happened inside a slice of reality so thin it barely registers on the cosmic scale. You have lived your entire life inside a 1% window, and you have never once, not for a single instant, touched the world as it truly is. Now, that could feel small, even a little lonely, to realize you are sealed inside a tiny bubble, missing almost everything. But wait, because I think there is something quietly astonishing hiding in this. Look at what fits inside that 1%. Inside that thin little slice, there is the color of the sky at dawn. There is music that can bring you to tears. There is the face of someone you love, the sound of their laugh, the warmth of a hand in yours. There is the taste of your favorite meal and the smell of rain on a hot road. An entire human life, every joy you have ever felt and every person you have ever cared about, all of it fits inside that 1%. That sliver may be small compared to the whole of reality, but it was tuned over millions of years precisely to the world you actually get to live in. It is not a prison, it is a window shaped perfectly for you. And here is the most beautiful part. You now know the window is there. You know there is more. An unimaginable, endless ocean of reality just beyond the edge of your senses, humming quietly all around you. Most creatures live and die without ever suspecting it exists, but you can suspect it, you can wonder about it, you can point a telescope or build a radio and reach, just a little, past the walls of your own bubble. That is what makes us different. Not that we see everything, we see almost nothing, but we are the one creature that knows it. And knowing how much more is out there is not a reason for despair. It is the very beginning of wonder. So the next time the world feels ordinary, remember what you are actually looking at. A single glowing precious sliver carved out of something almost infinite. A tiny window, and everything you love is on the other side of it. You are only seeing 1% of reality, but that 1% holds a whole world. Your world. And somehow, impossibly, it is enough.